The virtual campground is a community of RVers. We gather around the campfire to share stories, information, and travel tips to help you on your next adventure.
Okay. Following your passions. That leads me directly into a conversation about our two guests today, Georgia Harris and Randy Motz. Their passion is travel for sure, but they also do it to pursue their love of hiking, music, and photography. And they have found a way to combine all those things into a really stellar way of traveling around.
Yeah, fascinating couple.
Yep. So let's hear from them.
My name is Randy Motz.
And I'm Georgia Harris.
And we are full-time RVers, started in July of 2019. Everything we own is in our Newmar Dutch Star that we've been traveling around the country since we first started. We stop in Texas. That's our home base. And we spend 2 to 3 months in Texas, like a lot of people do, taking care of doctor stuff and dentists and all of that stuff. But typically 9 to 10 months out of the year, we are traveling.
Y'all are about the same as us. We started in August of 2019, I think. So tell me what came first, because y'all have a lot going on. Was it music, hiking, or the RV?
The hiking was the most recent.
Okay.
We started hiking together in 2000. We were just talking about that yesterday. We thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2006, and my parents took their RV along for the ride, and they went from Georgia to Maine with us. And we had RVs growing up, so our personal RV is more recent. We rented a couple before we got the one we have, just to make sure we like that lifestyle. So the hiking was that long ago. The music,
I've been doing music since I was in elementary school.
How did you come to start playing the Native American flute?
I've always had a fascination and a passion for Native American history and cultures, and I've been studying Native Americans ever since I can remember. And in 2000, we went to a concert put on by a flutist from the Taos Pueblo by the name of Robert Mirabal. And Robert combined Native American instruments, percussion instruments, and dance and stories with a rock band and a cello. And it was a fascinating experience. The blending of all those instruments was just captivating. I fell in love with it. And I told Georgia about halfway through the concert, I said, that's the next instrument I want to learn how to play. And lo and behold, about a week later, 2 flutes that she ordered for me, unbeknownst to me, show up at the house. And I started teaching myself how to play. And the rest, as they say, is history.
You're such a good partner, Georgia. And so how is the Native American flute different from other flutes?
First of all, Native American flute is wood. Here's one. This is what they call a drone flute.
Oh.
Okay, so you have one note that's always the same note, and then you play a melody on the other side.
It's not hollow.
Okay, and it's not hollow all the way through. It's actually blocked right in this area, so the air goes in here, comes out a hole underneath, travels underneath this piece that they call the bird or the fetish, and then the air goes back into these holes here in front, and then these finger holes are what gives you the different notes. This differs obviously from a silver flute because you blow straight into the end of this, where with a silver flute, you blow across the flute. And these instruments are in one key. So if you want to perform songs in different keys, you need a flute for every one of those keys.
Okay, so how many flutes do you have?
I think I have 19 or 20. In the community of flute players, that's nothing.
A small amount.
That's a small amount. Most of the people I know have a minimum of 50.
Wow, okay. Didn't see that coming, I gotta say. Didn't see that.
Luckily, they're light, so I don't have to be concerned about weight, but they do take up space.
Well, the other thing is we've got a bag full of percussion instruments, a big Taos drum, a big native drum, some smaller drums,
and a complete sound system underneath in the bays
with a projector
with a
and
projector
screen
and a screen
and
for the shows.
speakers and amps and mixers and all of that.
So where are your clothes?
We don't have
You
a lot
have
of
them,
extra clothes.
you have them on.
We have a big closet in the back with maybe one or two dress outfits each. Well,
Because
the other thing that takes up space is we have 3 workstations in here. So there's 3 laptops, 3 pull-out trays with workstations set up on it.
Printer.
A printer, a shredder, the whole office.
well, and some of that equipment I imagine, because I know Georgia, you're a photographer, and you will photograph Randy playing and then edit those that go on y'all's YouTube channel.
So I do the videos and photos both. And sometimes it's a composite set of photos that I compile together and then put the audio with it. And sometimes it's live video that we do on site, or he's doing a live show that I record and then do the edits with that. So I use Adobe Premiere on my computer, but then I use Premiere Rush on my phone to do quick edits if they're a live show, a live video from the trail or something.
You were in Big Bend and we were headed there. We just missed each other. And I know you
Right.
published a video in Big Bend of you playing, which was just beautiful. It made me curious. Do you have certain songs that you know you're going to play there, or are you making them up?
When we do the live videos on site at places that we're traveling to, or we're hiking, those are all improvised songs. I just start playing, and things come to me. I don't read music. I do everything by ear and by memory. The hard part is doing so many videos is coming up with something original each time.
Right.
So then I have to switch flutes, because just the sound of a different flute will give me different ideas on things to play.
How did Native Americans take the fact that you are playing? Because you are not a Native American, correct?
That is correct. I am not.
So last weekend is a good example. At the Native Dawn Flute Festival, there were a number of natives and non-natives at the festival. And you had a chance to play, right?
Yeah, all of us played, natives and non-natives alike, and basically it came down to the love of the flute, and it didn't have anything to do with who was the player, whether they were native or not. In all my years of playing, I've ever had an experience where a native came up to me and criticized or questioned why I was playing Native American flute. I stay away from powwows because that's a different venue altogether, and there I would be encroaching on the spiritual and the sacred aspects of the event if I played and I was not native.
That makes a lot of sense. And then how did you learn to play? Because it looks a little complicated.
Actually, it's a relatively simple instrument to play. When you start putting little flourishes and ornaments and little things in to spice up the songs a little bit, it gets a little bit more technical. But I taught myself how to play just using a book and a video that came along with the first 2 flutes that Georgia got for me. And then I played for quite a while until I felt like my playing was plateauing, where I wasn't advancing anymore. So I was lucky to be at a music theory class, and a young lady in the music theory class, we started talking, and she was a member of a flute circle, and she invited me to their flute circle. And then I asked her if there was somebody around who actually gave lessons. And she told me about a gentleman by the name of Dr. Ron Warren, who is Cherokee. He was teaching flute classes at a community college nearby in the evening once a week. So I signed up for his classes, and I took a basic class and an intermediate class from him over the course of a couple of years. And then I also attended some week-long Flute Haven native flute schools over the course of a span of 5 or
That
6
was with
years
Clint Goss.
with Clint Goss, and picked up some other things and had a chance to play with other instruments and other flute players, and things sort of advanced from there. And I'm just sort of building upon what I've learned, and it's sort of expanding my style of playing, moving more toward the new age style of playing, where it's more meditative, more ambient than a traditional native style of music. I also do a lot of jazz and blues, and sort of my calling card is classic rock songs. I do a lot of classic rock songs.
I saw some of those videos. Those were fun. And it's a really cool sound to add the recorder to some of those classic songs. Now, Georgia, have you been a photographer most of your life, all of your life?
I've been shooting digitally with Canon cameras since 2000, so a little over 20 years. And the reason I picked up the first one is I was working on a CD-ROM training course in metrology or measurement science at work. And we had a contractor who was doing education design. And I looked at the photos that they were doing to go on the CD-ROM training course, and I went, ew, I can do better than that. So I took over all of the photography for that project, and it just started from there, where I've been taking cameras everywhere we go.
Awesome. Well, you've got gorgeous photos, and then of course on y'all's site, but you also do the videography on the YouTube channel. And I think it's just a beautiful marriage of y'all's, the images that you've taken and the music. It just plays so well together. How did that come to be?
It's at an assisted living center in Lynchburg, Virginia, when his parents moved out of their house into assisted living. And they did activities there. And one of the things we tried at that point was to project the photos from the Appalachian Trail. That was the first set that ever went behind the show, and that started out the Wind Talker experience, if you will. And from that point on, I collected photos from all the different places we've been and come up with different sets of photos. So we've got two different sets from the Southwest, one from the Appalachian Trail, one from the Smokies, another one from Scotland on the West Highland Way, one from England on the Coast to Coast path. And the ones from New Zealand, I still am filtering from about 20,000 photos. We have basically done that for the Wind Talker experience, is what we call it now. So we'll be doing a Wind Talker experience show. The next one is scheduled in July in Massachusetts.
The last two CDs that we put out, we decided to, or Georgia came up with the idea of, how about I put together a photo montage for each song on the albums and post them as videos up on YouTube. So my last two albums, Awakening and Wind, Water, and Stone, there is a video for each song. So you could go through the entire album and not just hear the music, but see photos that accompany that. In fact, in 2020, we even went as far as developing a calendar. So I had to come up with 12 songs because we had 12 photos, and photos from the songs on the album appeared on the calendar.
I love it. And of all these wonderful places that you visited and you've gotten to play in, Georgia, do you have a favorite one where you have videoed or taken pictures of and Randy's played?
It is a tough question. People ask us what our favorite place is, and every place we find something that we love about, really. Somebody asked me the other day, what's my favorite thing along the Appalachian Trail? I said, anytime I'm on the top of a mountain and have a great view. And my favorite thing is if there's a cloud inversion where you have the clouds below you at the mountaintop. Those are my favorite views.
Now, I have to say, one of the most unique places that we ever played and did a video was in New Zealand. And we went on this tour out in the middle of the woods to this area where there was actually flames coming out of the ground. It was called the Flame Experience.
That's right.
And evidently, there were years ago, some guys were out in the woods on a hike and noticed that there was gas coming out of the ground. And all of a sudden, there was flames. And the more they dug, they had a big area there where there was just fire coming out of the ground, and it's been doing that for years and years and years. And they take people out there on a hike,
Make tea and pancakes.
and the guy who takes you out there has a cache out in the woods where he has all the utensils and stuff to make you pancakes and tea over the fire coming out of the ground. So I had my flute with me, so I played in front of these flames coming out of the ground. And we sent the video to this gentleman, and he used it for advertising for getting people, tourists, to come to this place. And the next thing we knew, this video that was just sort of off the cuff just took off. And it was like in a month's time, there was like 250 views of this, me standing in front of this ground in flames playing flute.
So now that we've talked about your music, Randy, will you play something for us?
Absolutely.
Thank
This
you.
is the drone flute that I talked about earlier. So I'll see what I can come up with here.
That was pretty cool.
That was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Definitely check out his YouTube channel. You can watch the video, but it's also lovely music just to have going on in the background. Well, we enjoyed talking to them so much that we actually will have more from them specifically about hiking the Appalachian.
That's right. Yep. Thanks
Great
for
content.
being here. We'll hope to see you again soon. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel and subscribe to the newsletters. And until we can see you in person one day, we'll see you at the virtual campground.
See you around the campfire.